Hello and welcome. If you're new here, welcome. This is a second channel of mine. My main channel is Top Hat Geo, and this is going to be where I put more loose and relaxed videos. So, recently, I have been craving to talk more about Witch Hat Atelier. If you've seen any of my main channel videos about this show, you know that I'm a massive fan of the manga. And oh man, I've been so excited about the anime. Like, part of me was a bit nervous because, for context, Bug Films isn't the most, they're obviously seen as fairly good because they have some well-established people behind them. But in terms of an actual studio themselves, they have very little pedigree in the sense of their previous shows on 100. From my understanding, it sort of fell apart during production, and a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be complete wasn't complete in episode 1, which is, not ideal. But they have thoroughly won me over. So, for just a general idea, this video is basically just going to be me gushing for however long, about Witch Hat. So, let's get into it. So, it's such a fun adaptation. I absolutely adore the specificity and the attention to detail given to everything here, particularly when it comes to the translation of things which work in manga but might not work in animation, and the things that are unique to animation, and the little flourishes, I suppose. So, I think I'm just gonna go through episode by episode and just see how I feel about it. So, it had a hard job trying to match its original, but I think they did it with so much gusto. We're only 5 episodes in so far, I want to say. Yeah, 5 episodes. So, let's talk about chapter 1 and episode 1. This was a really, really fun introduction to the world, and I think the things I want to first point out are the voice work. The voice work in both the English sub and the English dub, or I guess the Japanese dub. Both of them are incredible. And I think I really want to give credit to all of the voice actors, because I think, let's start with the ones we meet in this episode. We have Coco. And I think in both the Japanese and the English, Coco is given this kind of timidness, this quietness, which I think really sells her character. And it's not just timidness, because it's that mixed with her genuine love and passion for magic. And it's this lovely little seesaw where she's quite clearly a fairly meek character, but she is also enamored with magic. So I really like how Coco's done, but I think the moment in these episodes which really, really sold me on Coco was the was when her mother was turning to stone and she just yells. She's just terrified that she's going to lose her only family member, and that it would be her fault. In a way. And then there's Kifuri. First of all, it's really weird getting official pronunciations for a lot of these characters, because I don't know if you can hear in my videos, but I pronounced him as Quifrey, which, you know, I thought that made sense, because he's a scholarly guy, he draws with a pen, so it's like Quill and Free or something. But no, Quifrey, Kifuri. Coco's, you know, just a regular name. Agot, I was fine with. Tetia, yeah, sure, that's basically what I said. Riche? I pronounced it Richet, I think it was. And yeah, just in general, I think that was the name that threw me the most. But yeah, episode 1. Let's talk about episode 1. The backgrounds for Coco's flashback in the castle town. The Castle Festival was absolutely stunning. The kind of multicolored cobbles that were in the background. it gave this iridescent quality to this sequence, and I really, really love that. And yeah, I think just in general, the way that we get introduced into this world through this kind of smaller little incident with magic, only for Coco to then be tempted into using this more dangerous spell. It's such a devastating but very classical fantasy way to hook you in. And I particularly love the amount of weight given to the act of drawing. And I mean that in the very physical sense, because I noticed it when Kiefer was first drawing the circle for the to restore the carriage. You can actually feel, as he's drawing, the kind of weight of the pen, and like there's clearly a bit of resistance. I have no idea how hard that must have been to animate that, to kind of plan out the timings and the weight in such a way that it feels like, okay, yes, this is a man doing a pen stroke. It's not just him miming it, it's actually him drawing on a material. And similarly, I think that the way that Coco's first spell gets drawn is really... The way the adaptation does it is a really interesting detail, because they make it so that she hasn't completely done the circle, and then she sort of is like, oh, I guess I don't have the skill. And then you see the wind shift a little, the flame flickers, and the ink drips from the pen to complete the circle. What an interesting choice, because I kind of like how the manga did it, and I know that that's the most annoying thing anyone could say, but it's an undoubtable comparison. But I think that the way that the anime does it almost makes it feel like fate that Coco is destined to come into this world. She's the way that this little moment ends up making her first spell, and that gives her the confidence to continue and get sort of dangerously curious. And yeah, the stuff with Kiefer was incredibly good, and I love that little moment of him yelling at Coco, "What did you draw?" Because it's so... It gives him this slight edge even then. Sorry if I sound a bit stuffy, by the way, I've got a cold. So episode 2 gives us the introduction to the rest of the main cast. And I've got to say, I really like the voices they picked for everyone. The vibes and mannerisms in particular. I know that's such a vague way, but like, a vague way to describe it, but they nailed it. They really did. Tetia is this very bubbly, very friendly girl. Richie is very chill and kind of monotone. And Agot is Agot. I really like Agot, particularly in the English dub, where she's got this very aggressively British accent, just like Kiefer does. And I'm skipping ahead a bit. There's a moment in episode 5 where she's falling, and you know, she's in mortal peril. She is going to die. And in her head, she's just thinking, well, this is a spot of bother. I've not got my shelf shoes. And it's like, it's so funny. It's like, even when she's falling to her death, she has to be polite and stiff upper lip about it. It's great. But yeah, the vibes for the different girls is incredibly good. I am still getting used to Tetia being Danish in the English version, but I love the diversity of accents. I think that's one of the strengths of this dub, is it doesn't feel nearly as Americanized, I suppose. Like a lot of dubs, you can sort of see that there is it's clear that it's all made by people with American accents, but even if these aren't necessarily actors from different countries, the fact that they have these accents and they feel authentic enough, it gives this texture that I think a lot of anime dubs kind of miss. But yeah, I really liked the introduction to all of them, and the little additional scenes that the anime added of the house having dinner, it was so cute. And I do have a slight sense, this is vague manga spoilers, but I'm not going to talk specifics. I do have a feeling that some of these introductions of these scenes are because they're going to cut some of the slice of life stuff later, which, fair enough. It's a bit unfortunate, but I can understand why. Episode 3 was probably the first time that I recognized, oh, this isn't just a good adaptation, this is going to be a fantastic adaptation. Because the way that the directorial style aims to kind of emphasize Coco, and particularly this first test, is incredible. She's constantly stumbling, she's constantly feeling out of her depth, out of her comfort zone. But there's something there with how they portray her tenacity, which I really didn't feel in the manga, but really comes through here. I think the place this is most evident is right at the end of the test, when she is sort of flying around on the wing cloak, and she's constantly trying to swipe the diadem herb, but she keeps missing. In the manga, she just got it and that was it. But with this, it's like, okay, it's not just a one-hit wonder. You have to have the sustained effort and enough control to swoop down and grab that herb. It's genuinely so cool that we get to see her have this kind of tenacity and this force of will, I suppose, to just keep going. And yeah, this was also the episode where we got to see Brush Buddy, and I really like how cute Brush Buddy's voice is. When I was reading it in the manga, I always imagined a voice a bit more similar to Ryoga's pig form from Ranma 1/2. That's a bit silly, but like I always imagined him with more of a wee, sort of a slightly deeper voice. But the really sort of cutesy little voice they've got for them is really sweet. And this episode also added some insane additions with Coco's mother. Because since it's such a core part of Coco's character, of course you want to emphasize that. They adjusted episode 1 a bit by reducing the comedy after she turned to stone. Makes sense. And here it was like, okay, what's a natural way that we can include Coco's mother in this? Well, it's already right in front of you. It's the fact that Coco is using her pre-existing skills that she was taught by her mother to achieve greatness in this test. She's using her own background to inform her current practice. And then just slotting in Coco's mother as the teacher and having that little sequence of all of the little Cocos living her life as she continues drawing in the center. That was fantastic. It's the kind of thing which I think you can improve a story through hindsight. That's part of the fun of adaptation, I think. That someone can look at a story, look at where it goes, and think, okay, how can I use my knowledge of future material to make the earlier material better? And that is exactly it. And yeah, I loved that. I also really liked the little moment where Kiefer's getting Coco's uniform, and you can just hear the witch and his apprentice just kind of whispering about the outsiders and stuff. It's like, it's just a nice little world building thing. And yeah, now let's talk about episode 4, Calm. Calm was an arc that I always enjoyed. I did not expect them to go this hard this early. So first of all, episode 4 was really, really sweet. I think that there was so much fun in exploring the town and the framing of everything, particularly in the first half, where this is the first witch town Coco's ever seen. And I think it's kind of inevitable that you are going to want it to feel at least a very slight bit like Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. first of all, fuck J.K. Rowling. She's a TERF, she's horrible. But it's undoubtable to say that Diagon Alley and Harry Potter as a whole has innumerably influenced other fantasy authors, and I'm pretty sure Shirahama has mentioned that Harry Potter was one of the influences on the series. But the point is, you want to make the city feel like a lived-in magical place with magical shops and just magical folk doing their thing. I think specifically to the first film of Harry Potter, where we have the scrolling shot of all of the people just milling about outside of the shops. And this episode captured that vibe perfectly. So we have Coco just looking in awe as witches are just going about their daily lives. And I love the attention to detail to the shop stalls and the background extras, because they all have unique robes, they all have unique designs. Some of them are sleeping, some of them are chasing each other, others are sitting and chatting. It does so much to give this world a feeling of life and joy, and it's just so much fun. I love it. And then we get to the Starry Sword. So, I am the absolute biggest fan of Tata, the little guy. You're gonna see more of him this season, trust me. He is awesome. You will come to love him as I do, but you will never surpass my love for him. And Nolnoa. Both of these characters were voiced impeccably. I would never have expected them to give them Irish accents in the English dub. I'm still figuring out my feelings towards Irish Tata, but their voices are superb in both the dub and the sub. Tata especially, he in the Japanese sounds exactly as I imagined. It's the same voice actor who does Kobayashi in Dragon Maid and those other roles that she did, but absolutely incredible voice work. And yeah, again, attention to detail. They give so much emphasis to these immaculately done backgrounds, and particularly when you see Nolnoa brewing the silverwood to become ink, there's so much detail in like the way he's opening up there was a moment where he's opening up a little sort of potion bottle, and you can just feel the weight from it. And I know that sounds really stupid to just say, oh yeah, you can feel the weight. You can. It feels weighty. It feels like it's got some actual mass and shape to it. And that's a really tough thing to try and achieve. So, absolutely love the entire Starry Sword segment. Tata's introduction is really multifaceted and interesting. I might elaborate on this a bit later if I'm making a specific review where I can talk more manga stuff, but I want to try and keep this fairly anime safe. And then we get into the chase sequence with the kind of Scooby-Doo-esque escapades of the girls all chasing down the brim cap. And then we get to the dragon section. Oh man, I had a very specific thing that I wanted to see out of this, and I think they've didn't quite hit what I wanted, but they still did a absolutely phenomenal job everywhere else. So the specific moment I'm thinking of is Tetia's little breakdown where she says, "Why did I have to get dragged into this?" And she looks at Coco with these like completely different eyes than she normally does. And I think the reason this is so impactful is this is Tetia's facade and her general personality breaking for a moment. She goes from this bubbly, happy girl who's always trying to see the positive in things to a scared kid who is just lashing out at someone. And the eyes in the manga really portrayed that, and I imagined kind of her having a slight change in voice, like a slight voice crack maybe. Neither the dub or the sub fully convey that with the way that Tetia's eyes are drawn and the way that she's voiced. Like, I think the English dub does it a little bit better in giving this sense that this is her at her breaking point. But at the same time, I do somewhat feel that there was something missed about that moment? I don't know. But other than that, this episode and episode 5 were fan-fucking-tastic. I normally, like, type up my thoughts in, like, a Discord thread I'm in, just to talk to friends about Witch Hat. When I finished this episode, all I could say was holy fucking shit. Because, yeah, the first half of episode 5 is this incredibly low-key, I suppose, quite kind of down-to-earth acting, where it's just the girls having to deal with the fact that they are in this new weird world. They're in this new kind of abstract world, and they just have to kind of come up with a plan. And things are getting colder, and things are getting a bit scary. And then we get, you know, these beautiful little moments of Coco apologizing to Tetia apologizing to Coco, and the cloud stuff. And it's really, really sweet that we get to just see the girls kind of bond, because I think this is the first time that you really see them working together as a team. And yeah, the way that we then transition, where, you know, Coco figuring out this very simple Pieball spell, this was just a blind spot for her. She was, like, so busy with trying to think of a complicated plan that she forgot one of the most basic spells that a Pieball could help them with the use the bed of sand. And yeah, everything from them drawing the seals onwards is absolutely insane in this episode. The fact that they can make the anticipation and the execution of drawing into a tense and hype and auriful moment is crazy to me. Because, yeah, it feels like this is the plan coming together. This is the girls' planning paying off in such a cool way. And yeah, the way that the music swells. I've not mentioned the music yet. Oh my god, the music swelling, the chords. Oh, it is beautiful. As the girls are running about, getting these seals done, signaling to each other, before then retreating to a safe spot. It's so good. And this is only emphasized further when Keyfree comes in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Keyfree is the coolest motherfucker on the planet at this moment in time. I have rewatched the specific scene of him combating the dragon way too many times. I've probably watched it about 5 or 6 times at least. It is so damn cool. The way that he dives in, he swoops in, saves a god, flies upwards through the storm, and then the music, it swells and then it stops. And then the clouds part and the music kicks back in as he finishes his spell. Oh my god. I absolutely love the way that the water dragon is. Okay, I need you to understand, if you've not seen the manga, Shirahama's art is already godly. I need to hammer this in. This isn't just like, oh, they're turning a good adaptation into a great piece of art. No, this was already fantastic, and they somehow topped it. They go from, like, this being a massive, sort of quite powerful spell to it feeling like a fucking nuke, I suppose. Because this is such an insane attack to pull out in episode fucking 5. Oh man. I am so excited to see what they do with some of the later material, particularly if we get future seasons. Because if they're going this unfathomably hard for this, what the hell are they going to do later on? And yeah, the everything about that moment where everything swells and we get that wide shot of this giant yellow water dragon dwarfing this already huge dragon. It is insane. And yeah, even after that, you'd think, okay, that's it. That was the only thing this episode's got left in it. No, it does not. We have the Brim Cap, who is with the unconscious Coco. And I love how the artwork around this section is deliberately quite scratchy, deliberately quite loose. It feels like it's once again embodying that forbidden side of forbidden magic, that it's less clear cut, less clean, but it can make you do things and feel things that you may not have been able to do before. And the tinkling soundtrack, the motif for the Brim Caps, and sort of whenever Coco thinks about the Brim Caps, it's a fantastic little indicator of oh things aren't going to go well. And yeah, the speech has done so much to make me really appreciate the eyeball Brim Cap again, because the way that he has his arms stretched out and the camera's turning around him as the world is literally above him and the sky's below. I will teach you things that Keyfree cannot. Welcome to the world of magic. Ooh, it is powerful stuff. And I love that there's a bit of suspense about what is the gift that he was so excited to gift Coco. I won't spoil it, but I think that they did a really good job with it, and implying things about it. And yeah, then we get to that scene at the very end where Coco is just breaking down and apologizing, and God, the expressions on her face are so powerful. And then, of course, then we have got to talk about the fucking cliffhanger. That moment of the ending music cutting out as Keyfree tells Nonoa, "You will not tell anyone about this. Not a single soul." Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. If they are going this hard on this moment, I have no idea what they're going to do now. They've done a fantastic job, and we are 5 episodes in. We're not even halfway there. My unabashed excitement for this is incredible. I feel blessed to be experiencing this at this time. But I do want to just quickly point out there are a few concerns that I have had with some friends that we've just been sort of talking about a bit. First things first is pacing. The pacing so far has been fantastic. Judging by what they've included in the opening and the ending, I have absolutely no idea how they think they're going to get away with getting to the points that they seem to be implying they're going to get to. I can see that with some cuts, with some tasteful sort of truncating, they could definitely they could get it to work. However, I am a little bit worried that they are going to do too much and they are going to cut out very essential scenes and character building moments, because so far the main things that have been cut have been either things that they want to change tonally, quick jokes, or the occasional panel here and there. I think that's okay. But I am worried that they are going to go too far with it. Like, it's not like, oh my god, this anime is going to be doomed if it isn't. No, this has been a fantastic anime, and even if we have some slip-ups, I think that they're going to do fine. And we've still got these first 5 episodes, which are fan-fucking-tastic. That is perfectly fine. I don't know. I think I am a little bit worried about that. The other thing I'm slightly sort of a bit unsure about is, it's similar to that, it's the end point. I don't see a good spot where they can end it other than 2 specific points. I'm not going to mention them here just because I don't want to spoil sort of where the season might end. I can see a few different points where they would end it. And yeah, the other thing that I'm still getting used to is the voice cast. Particularly the English voices. I really like them. It's just that I am still trying to fully figure out my feelings towards Irish Tartar, Danish Hettier, and Richet's voice. I don't know if Richet has a particular accent. I know that the voice actor's Australian, I think. But I don't think she has an Australian accent. Because I think the thing with Richet's voice is she is a very soft-spoken character, and the particular delivery that is given is very quiet. So I am a slight bit worried that she's going to get her voice kind of lost in the background, like she has in some of the previous episodes. And I think that should be fine. I think they'll work it out. But I think that is just a slight worry that I have. But the actual voice acting itself has all been fantastic. And yeah. Oh, man. I don't think that there's anything else that I want to mention. So I'm just going to leave it with this. I am so excited to see what the rest of this season is going to do. I am so excited to see what they do with the source material. I cannot wait for the music to come out by itself so that we can just listen to tracks like Keyfreeze, Dragon Track, all on its own. That's going to be insane. And yeah, if this is the thing that pushes Witch Hat to the mainstream, I'm going to be so ecstatic, dude. Even if it doesn't, that's fine. I'm thriving here, and it's so much fun. Alright, I think that's everything. So, yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you later.